Foxbody. Yeah, let's go see another one.
They told him, don't you ever come around here. Don't wanna see your face, you better disappear. The fire's in their eyes and their words are really clear. So beat it, just beat it. You better run, you better do what you can. Don't wanna see no blood, don't be a macho man. You wanna be tough, better do what you can.
So here's the inside of the Foxbody that we were going to work on, in case you're new to the channel and you don't know all the bullshit that we had to go through. The carpet that was laying across the top, the metal had basically rusted away but stuck to the bottom of the carpet, and we had no clue that there was a huge hole until we pulled the carpet out. This is it. Last time you'll be seeing the inside of this car. More than likely I will take the dash out, at least the instrument cluster bezel, but yeah, we're gonna roll this thing out, so make room for the new car. This is what's left of the floorboard. So this is what was stuck to the bottom of the carpet, and that's why I couldn't tell that there was a hole there.
You stole my heart of gold after my silver soul. Can you dig any deeper now? I gave you all I own, put you on this golden road, but I'm a little stronger now. You casting on my
It's February and there's pollen all over the car. Okay, well, let's get started. Like I said, I'm not going to video the whole process for you guys. There's no point in it. This is going to take me hours to do. So basically all I'm going to do is take the upper and lower intake off, the valve covers off. I'm going to pull the distributor so that I can get top dead center. That is completely wet back there with oil. I mean, these valve covers are pouring. Valve covers and probably the back of the intake. That's what we're going to address because it's leaking down onto the headers and onto the K-member. It's leaking down the exhaust. So, I mean, it's just everywhere. So this has all got to be cleaned up and fixed. So the valve covers are off. Everything's cleaned up. And I've got the gaskets on the valve covers right now with a little bit of silicone kind of holding them in place until they tack up. Just gonna make sure all the holes are lined up. I've actually decided not to take the lower intake off because overall it looks pretty good. I think all the oil that was leaking out was coming from the top of the valve covers, leaking down on top of the intake. That's usually what happens. But it's really dirty in there, but that's no problem. Everything will be pressure washed once it's all put back together. Something I wanted to show you guys is in the back of the intake of these 5.0s. See that hole? That hole is where the PCV goes from the back of the intake, and this goes into the top of it. And all it is wire mesh, and it's just to keep any splash or anything like that, any oil splash, from getting sucked up into the PCV system itself. But take a look, this thing is completely stopped up. That's actually pretty common on these cars. So as just a reminder, you know, whenever you're doing any intake work like this and you got a chance, go ahead and pull this plug out, and you can clean it with just brake cleaner's fine, and get that thing cleaned out, because what that'll do is clog up your PCV system. The PCV is how the motor releases all of the crankcase pressure, blow by and whatnot from the engine. It goes up into this system right here, which is just a one-way valve. It's a little check valve. It only pulls air. Always replace the PCV if you're this far into it. It's only a couple bucks. Replace that and check that wire mesh, because if it's clogged up, you're gonna have major problems. Well, all right guys, I'm not gonna bore you with the details of this. I'm gonna just kind of take my time tonight, kind of put this back together. I'll get back with you whenever it's done. I'm making no promises. We're hoping that all the smoke, whatnot that's coming out from up under the car is actually coming from the valve cover dripping. The next time you see the car, hopefully it will be back together and running. Whew, that was fun. So I just pressure washed the car, and let me tell you, this thing was filthy. I don't know what happened. It had oil all the way down the entire undercarriage of the car. I mean, all the way down to the gas tank. So either the rear main let loose at some point, maybe it was a combination of the valve covers, of maybe the timing chain cover, rear main, I don't know. I've never seen anything like that. I feel pretty good about everything. Like I said, I put the valve cover gaskets on it last night, so I wanted to wash everything away so that we didn't have any residual oils, you know, causing the car to smoke. So I'll give you a quick rundown of what's going to happen probably tonight. We're going to do a distributor cap and rotor button. We're going to do new spark plugs. So NGK, that's what I like to run. And Freon, we're going to do a 134 conversion on the car. Just for the record, I know everybody's going to hate, but we are not doing a complete swap, a complete conversion. We're just going to do the adapter and hope for the best. Remember guys, this is a budget build. Please remember that. I know you're going to give me some flack about not converting the whole thing. I get it, but I'm just telling you now, it's a budget build, so that's why we're doing that. We also picked up some dye for the interior because some of the stuff in the car is like a gloss black where somebody just painted it. Looks like with regular gloss black spray paint. We just got a couple just blocks and stuff, and some Scotch-Brite to scuff up everything. And this is the wet dry sandpaper that I will use whenever I start on the car. Anyway guys, that's what's next. Here's the interior of the car again. I will go ahead and tell you that, look at this, that seat's broke. I tried to get in it last night to do a little bit of work on the interior and the seat fell back. I had about $1,000 budget on this car to kind of, you know, just get started with it, make sure that the car runs good, get it on the road. We're gonna bust that one pretty much wide open with a set of seats, at least over half of it anyway. So you won't see a lot being done to the car right now. We are going to probably do some speaker grills. I have another console. We're going to pull that out. I'm going to dye everything the correct color instead of the gloss black. You know, shifter boot, silly stuff like that, just to make myself comfortable in the car. If the car runs good, I'm good with it. So you guys didn't really get to see the back seats before, but the back seats are in excellent condition. The car overall is in a really good condition. You spend a little bit of time in here doing a little bit of cleaning and you would be surprised what this thing will look like. We're gonna leave the carpet for now. Eventually I'll put some new carpet in the car, but the carpet looks pretty good. All new weather stripping and whatnot will be coming. Now that's what I'm talking about. Nice, clean engine. Well, cleaner than it was anyway. So we got the valve cover gaskets on. I've already told you guys that. This is later on in the night. Earlier today, I went ahead and put new plugs in the car, got top dead center, adjusted the timing on the car. Now, as you can see, the plug sits exactly where it should. So the car runs good now. I really can't believe it. I took it down the road just a few minutes ago and the car just runs so much better. So to kind of go over what we did, the car's got new valve cover gaskets. Went ahead, put some new plugs in the car, put a new PCV in the back, and cleaned out the little mesh piece that I showed you earlier. Cleaned that out, got that thing where it flows pretty good now, and also adjusted the throttle body. I'll have to go over that at some point with you guys on the throttle body issue with these cars. You know, if you have low idle on a Foxbody or really any fuel injected car, don't try to adjust the idle screw to get the car to idle up. More than likely you just have some other problems and you need to adjust the TPS and do a base idle reset on the car to make it idle correctly. Don't try to compensate for it with the throttle body. And that's, I guess, what had happened. I'll explain that later. I'll go into more detail on it. I don't know if you guys can remember all the oil that was back there, but it's a lot cleaner now than what it was. I got the pressure washer and pushed it down in every little nook and cranny that I could, got everything cleaned up. So really makes me feel a lot better. As of right now, I don't see any leak to speak of, so I'm happy. One more thing, as far as the upload schedule goes for me, you know, I work full time, so it's really hard to upload every day, and I'm not going to do that. So more than likely my upload schedule will be 1 to 2 videos a week, probably random. So sorry guys, if you're looking for some type of upload schedule, I don't really have one. I just have to do things as I can, and you're probably going to miss out on some of the step-by-step stuff because you're just going to get to see the progress of it. And if there are some small things that I can help you guys with, then I will show you how to do that. So you remember the parts that we saved out of the white car? They were all, you know, had rat shit and everything else on them, right? Well, I'm glad I saved those parts. They're actually right up there in a bucket. So saved all those parts just in case. And sure enough, this is the piece that goes under the steering wheel right here. Well, it's not in bad shape, don't get me wrong, but it's got a couple holes and then it's cracked right over here. Now, almost every one of them are going to be broken down here. I really need to order another one, but nobody really sees that, so I'm not that concerned about it. I don't like the crack and I don't like the holes in it. We have a better piece Obviously it's broken in the same spots, no big deal. I wanted to show you guys what the paint looks like that I picked up some paint today. So if you guys have a Foxbody that is black on the interior or anything really, and you want a good interior dye, try this. The satin black is perfect. This is the way the interior is supposed to look. The panels are supposed to look like a satin finish, just like this. Then when you put your armor all on it later on, you get that nice wet look you want. But this is a natural black look. I'll just show you guys what I do whenever I get ready to spray something. I get denatured alcohol, take you a piece of Scotch-Brite. I use the gray Scotch-Brite that I get from the paint supply place because it is less abrasive. Anyway, you just lightly scuff everything up. I'm gonna have to do a better job than what I'm showing you right here. So after you get it sanded, scuffed up I should say, I just like to air dry. Okay, so once you get your panel scuffed up, all you want to do is just start putting light coats on it. It doesn't take a lot, especially if it's already black. This stuff is really thin. Kind of a heavy coat, but watch this piece as it dries up. It'll go from that glossy look to a nice satin, almost new black. This stuff dries really fast. It's pretty much already dry and ready for the next light coat. But anyway, this is what it's going to look like. I just wanted to show you guys how I prep them. There again with, you know, denatured alcohol, a little Scotch-Brite pad. It's not rocket science. Be sure if you're doing black, I recommend to use the satin black. You can use what you want, but that's what I would use. We got the car running, and last night my buddy Ray comes over and we're sitting here listening to the car run, and it just cuts off. After a little bit of investigation, it come down to the TFI module. It went bad. Matter of fact, it, like, you could smell it. I tell you guys, it's always something with these things. So there's a really cool test that you can do. It's really easy. On your if you think your module might be bad, let's say you have power coming out of your coil on both sides, so that's good. You ohm it out and it ohms out the way it's supposed to, so your coil's good, but you're still not getting any fire coming out of the coil. Well, there's a really neat test you can do. It's really quick. You can, facing this way with the plug in your hand this way, you can count back 1 2 3 4 5. So position number 5, you can run a jumper wire in here and then bring it out to ground. Have somebody go in and turn the key to the on position and touch. And if it arcs, then you know that you're getting fire into your module. Your module is not sending a signal out of it. So that's a quick and easy way to test and see if your module is bad. I'm gonna go ahead, stick this thing in and see if we can get the car back running. If you're pulling your distributor out, take note of where your button is. See the location of the button? It's pointing this way. Always just grab a piece of tape, lay it in the direction that the button was pointed on something over here, wherever the button's pointed. Put a piece of tape, and that way you know where your button is, so you don't get off, so you're not off by a tooth or so. Let's see if that was the problem. Holy shit, that was loud. I guess that was all the buildup gas. Wow, that's loud. From it sitting up, us trying to start it last night. But yeah, so my ears are still ringing, but check that out. This thing just runs so smooth. So far, so good with this car. So we have the springs on and the new struts. Well, one new strut and one new spring. But that's what it's gonna look like in there. It's nice to have new stuff. Even on an old car like this, it just makes everything look so much better. So that's it. I've got one side done. I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. We'll put the car on the ground. We'll get some video of it and see how she looks.
That's nasty.
She's low. She's extremely low, but kind of like it, I must say. I may try to put a an isolator in the top. I put the springs in with no isolators because typically that's how I do it, but wow, that's really low. It actually rides really good. The car has aftermarket shocks and struts, and the shocks in the back are extremely tight, so that helps with the ride of the car with it being lower. She rides pretty good, and I must say she's a looker. Well, she's getting there anyway.
I've been through some struggle and never asked for a handout. I try to be the best I can be, but that plan never pans out. I'm on the road to some riches. They tell me, bro, you gon' make it.